Okay, it says we are live. And let me go ahead and pull this up and see if I can find it. And it's never a dull moment around here. I got some updates for you folks. Let me see what we got here. Okay, it says we are live. And let me go ahead and Okay, so we're going to do some more testing because I got some more feedback from some folks, some contradicting feedback. And another update, I got the Sennheiser headphones that were recommended to me by a viewer to get, and they're in the box, boxed up, ready to go back. They're going to be returned. They didn't work worth a damn, and they even when I plugged them into my iPad, I only heard audio on one side, one channel. And the other thing I don't like about it is the cable that you can change the cables on it. It looks like it's a proprietary. It's not a normal 3.5 mil cable that the end that goes into the headphones. It looks like that's proprietary. And it looks like they were mainly designed for like somebody listening on an iPhone or something, because they got a built-in mic and all this stuff. I mean, they're going back. They're not really what I need here. And they really weren't that super comfortable. They weren't that much more comfortable than my Sonys here. Let me put these on real quick. Testing 1, 2. I can hear nice and clear through these. So, okay, so we're going to do a little bit more testing. Hello, Craig. Were you assaulted by Chinese yesterday? Hey, I mean, the Sennheisers, I'm sure they're made in China. They're in the box. They're going back. And, you know, I do a lot of product reviews on this channel, and my policy is if somebody sends me a product to review, and I think it's acceptable, I'll put it that way, I'll go ahead and do a review on it. They don't get the item back. And if I don't like it at all, I won't do a review at all. So they sent me these 3 walkie-talkies. They worked. They're real affordable, like $25 for 3 walkie-talkies. So I went ahead and did the review. But I might get to the point where I might just cut off these Chinese manufacturers and not even do reviews for their stuff anymore. A lot of times they send me stuff and I don't do a review on it. If it's absolute junk, I just won't do the review. I got, in one of my guest rooms over here, it's full of stuff on the giveaway room. I call it my giveaway room. Anytime somebody comes and visits, they can go in there and look through the stuff and just take whatever they want. So, hello, Craig. Let's see. Carlos, his security guard left his post. What model Sennheiser did you get? Okay, it's the, let me see if I can get into my purchase history here. And hopefully I can tell you that. Hopefully it'll still show up even though I've instituted a return. Oh, maybe they don't show up now that the return's been instituted. Oh, here it is. Sennheiser. This is the same model. This isn't the exact ones that I bought. This is the model right here. HD C98CS. So yeah, they're going back. Return to sender, folks. They're on their way back. I don't know if I bought the wrong ones or whatever, but anyway, that's what I bought. They're going back. I hate that. I hate when I have to do that. Get Grado headphones, high-end American company. There you go. That might be the way to go. Can you send me some information on those? My name, CraigShipp@gmail.com. CraigShipp@gmail.com. I'd be happy to look into those. Let's see. Getting ready to go to an event to have cocktails. There you go. Durr is in motion. And let's see. Okay, so we're going to try again. I'm going to try to test to switch back and forth between the Mix Pre and the Asden to see once again which is better. So first I'm going to go into the audio settings here on the mic input, and I'm going to turn off the mic gate, because was probably not an apples to apples comparison, because I had the gate on. Let's see where it is to turn that off. Mic compressor on. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. And the mic gate, I'm going to turn that off. Okay. So I got both those off. Let's see, do you have your new free gift? Yes, I put it on. It's not starched or anything, but this is the shirt. Absolutely, I figured I'd go ahead and wear it. All right, so I'm going to switch over. Right now, again, I'm on the, make sure here, I'm on the Asden right now, and I'm going to switch over, so just give me a moment. I'm going to switch over to the Mix Pre, and we'll see what that sounds like. Okay, so now we're on the Mix Pre, and let me show you what we got here. This is the Mix Pre. We're on the Mix Pre now, and the Asden, of course, is in the background there. So just let me know what this sounds like now. If it sounds better than just a moment ago, the same, different, whatever. And I'll be quiet for a second so you can hear the fan noise. Okay, and just let me know what you think. And let me monitor here just real quick, just see what it sounds like here. Testing 1 2 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 1 2 3. I can hear a little bit of the fan noise, but it's pretty low without the mic gate on. Blue Shirt Buddha's in the car. He's making things happen. I can hear more noise after the change. You sound the same. Okay, so he thinks there's more noise. There is I believe on the Asden, I believe I do have the filter, the low cut filter on, or whatever. So that might be doing something. Every time I look at Craig's watch, I think, wow, stunning. So you're talking about this one here. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's pretty stunning. Absolutely. And spot on accurate. We had to recalibrate the world time clock because they were out of kilter to the real time, which is right here. That's the official time right there, folks. So, okay, so let me know. I've got one that says they could hear more noise. Let me know if this sounds better, the same, whatever. I'm on the Mix Pre right now. And Tom's talking about the Blancpain Bath Escape 38 millimeter, 300 millimeter diver with 100 hour power reserve, 10.7 millimeters thick. Man, is it really that thin? That's amazing. I think it sounds the same, says R. Wags. Okay. R. Wags is saying it sounds the same. So that's interesting news. I have a Shure mixer coming tomorrow. I'll show you the one that I have coming tomorrow. If I can pull it up here. Let's see. Sound isn't bad enough to a distraction, in my opinion. Okay. But we're trying to find out if it's as good or worse or better, or how it compares to the previous one. So here's the unit that I have coming. Should be here tomorrow, and I'll be able to do a test. This is a Shure FP33. and it's made in these United States of America. This was a workhorse field mixer for many years before sound devices kind of took over the market. And this, by all accounts, this was a pretty well-made, rugged piece. And the one that I have coming looks like it's in pretty close to new condition. I think they actually still make this unit. I don't think they make that many of them, but they used to be dominant in the field as far as field mixers go. And so that's what I've got coming tomorrow to test out and see how that works. Sound isn't okay. Sound is good, Tom Austin. Okay, so this again is the Mix Pre. Now I'm going to switch back over to the Asden and see if you guys see a difference. Okay, now I'm switched back over to the Asden, and the advantage that the Asden has over the Mix Pre is it does have line level out. Now it has line level out in the form of XLRs, so I had to get XLR to RCA converters to be able to plug it in here to the input right there. So it's going from the output on the Asden into the RCA input line level into the Roland, which is an advantage over the, right here, the mic level input, which is what when we were using the Mix Pre, it's going in with the mic level input. So all other things being equal, I would rather be going in line level always, right? So that's a disadvantage to the Mix Pre, is it does not have a line level out. So you don't have that option. Okay? It's more designed to record. Okay? It's more of a recorder. And when you record with this, it's very high quality because the preamps in this are very good. And so whatever you record on this is fantastic. So this one is set up with a Arca Swiss mount on the bottom to mount onto a tripod. I've got it on a mini tripod right now. And then I can mount my camera right on top. And then I can run the audio out right into the camera so I can record in this very high quality file. And then I can also record to the camera as a backup, right? So that's really what that's designed for. It's really not designed for what we're doing now. And we're just kind of forcing it into that role, if you will. But right now, we're on the Asden. Okay, sound is okay. Craig, your sound is also excellent with the Asden. I would go with the one that is best for your use, RWAGs. Sounds good, Craig. Now I hear the same, says Carlos. Here's the thing. I have committed, I think Steve wants the Asden. So I think I'm going to box the Asden up and send it to him, to Steve, for him to use. He's getting ready to start doing broadcasts. You know, he's a little slow, but he's getting there. And so I think he's going to use the Asden, and then if the Shure tests out to be at least as good as the Asden tomorrow, then I'll probably use the Asden here and continue to use the sound devices unit in the field, you know, as a recorder the way it's meant to be used, right? And that way I won't put unnecessary wear and tear on the Mix Pre using it all the time for the live streaming. So that's my short-term plan. And we'll see. I use a Tascam audio interface to record music, and it works well. Yeah, Tascam, I mean, they're very affordable, but some of them get the job done. Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you say audio interface to record music, are you recording it on the Tascam, or are you interfacing with the computer and recording it on the computer, or are you recording it both places? Let me know. So, I watched that video of the guy talking about all the investment watches. And he had like the Royal Oak and, of course, the Batman and the Pepsi and the, I guess, Kermit or whatever. He had all the watches that are impossible to get that are selling for like twice retail on the aftermarket and all that. And he's talking about how great investments they are. Tom, Andrew, Carlos, and R. Wags agree on your sound quality. The Wrench Gang is unanimous. Okay, so here's the thing. He was cherry picking examples of watches that if you can buy them from an AD for list price, yes, you can sell them for a profit. As high a profit as he was talking about, maybe not, maybe problematic, and you probably have to pay somebody a commission to sell it for you to get that kind of money. Of course, he left all of that out of the discussion. But he cherry-picked, right? So it would be like me saying, okay, if you bought this stock, this stock, this stock, and this stock 10 years ago, right, you'd have made like X amount of dollars. Well, yeah, I mean, that's easy. But what about all the other watches that people are buying as investments that are not going up in value and that are not worth more than what you paid for them? And by the way, I wouldn't use the term going up in value. What I would say is he's buying them at lower than market price. In other words, he's able to get that at list price, whereas in reality, the watches are selling on the open market for more than list price, right? So in effect, he's getting it for less than the fair market value because the fair market value is considerably higher than the list price. But most people can't walk into an AD and buy those watches for list price. So most people are not going to be able to invest in the watch at list price. So really the examples he gave were just a situation where he was in a position to buy them for less than the open market fair value price. And so then, theoretically, he's able to sell it for a significant profit. Now, if he doesn't do that, if he doesn't realize that profit, then he's taking a risk that market price is going to remain that high or even go higher. And that is very speculative. So then now you get into the situation where you're speculating on a very, very volatile market, on a market that is probably in a bubble. And people paying that much money for steel watches is absolutely, positively insane. Insane to pay that much money for a steel watch. And so at some point, the insanity has to wane, I think. You mean the Shore. The Shore will sound way better. Okay, well, we'll see tomorrow. I'll test it. I'll compare them. Actually, Ken O'Leary used to have a good common and financial sense, but I did not like that video. Too cheesy. Okay. I use the Tascam audio interface to record into the digital audio workstation app, Logic Pro on Apple. Okay, so there you go. So you're literally using it as an interface to get the audio in to your MacBook Pro. Cool. Cool. Yeah, and if that's working for you, that's fantastic. And you can use, theoretically, you can use the Mix Pre as an audio interface to a computer. I haven't done that with it, but theoretically, you're supposed to be able to do that if you want to. So, yeah, okay, so what else were we talking about? When the show got cut off, I think we were still talking about the Prevost and how that poor young lady that bought the Plastic Fantastic RV for $200,000, how she could have gotten a actual over-the-road motor coach like this one for less money and been ahead of the game. So Here's the advantage when you buy something like this. The advantage is if you are paying cash, notice that Snap-on toolbox. If you are paying cash, then you can get a good buy on a coach like this because most people can't come up with the cash to buy it, right? So you're not competing with as many people. And also, a lot of people that are buying RVs, they want to buy a new one. They got, the wife or whatever, no, I don't want somebody else's problems, I want a brand new one, right? And they don't realize that the brand new one is a total piece of junk, right? It looks all shiny and new to them. And they don't realize that it's not a commercial grade, heavy duty coach like this one, right? And so they buy that, and plus they can get financed on it and all that, right? So you're not competing with that many people. I mean, who in their right mind would buy a 1998, it's 20 years old, right? Who in their right mind would buy a 20-year-old Prevost motor coach that's in mint condition that will go another, 8 or 900,000 miles with no problem? Who in their right mind would buy something like that? Something that's overbuilt, that's super well built, that was built generally without regard to cost. Who would do that? Who would buy something like that, right? So you don't have as much competition when you're stepping up to buy that puppy. You don't have as much competition. So this one's been for sale for a while at $149,000. They can't sell it. If I was going to buy this one, I'd probably roll in with about $110,000 in cash and say, here you go. And I'd probably roll away with it. Don't make an offer to these guys unless you're ready to roll, because they'll probably take it. Let's see here. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, the problem is that unless you belong to the good old boys club, you're going to have to buy a ton of depreciating watches and clean out the ADs before you can get those premium, the premium models. I got you, okay. He may be hyping the watches in order to allow others to sell into a rally. There you go. Absolutely. So there's always some of that going on. I'm looking at alternatives to Rolex in the 40 millimeter range, like the Glashot CQ at 39 mil. Well, there you go. Then there's this GMT that's 39 mils. That's a stunner that is going to run for years without any trouble and be like stone cold accurate. So there's that. Let's see here. I'm using an RME interface and a Firewire to Thunderbolt Mackie mixer to connect my Mac right now. Oh, there you go. Bought my no date sub on the spot in 2016 and my Hulk later the same year, and I waited 3 months for that one. At the time, I felt like 3 months was an insane amount of time to wait. How things change. There you go. I would sell that puppy if you still have it. Cash in while the market is hot. Take the money. Carla says, to me, it was amazing when O'Leary almost cried for purchasing the Nautilus 5711 at MSRP after some years waiting. His net worth is around $500 million. Well, there you go. Yeah, well, somebody that's that wealthy, this is a rounding error for them. Having these kinds of watches and stuff, it's like nothing for them. It's peanuts, literally. Hey, Craig, Dustin here shouting out from Tacoma, Washington. That's a nice coach. There you go. I don't want to buy used at a steep discount because you just get someone else's problems is exactly the sort of wasteful, profligate, throwaway attitude that keeps so many Americans broke. Cheatown, California. chiming in as to why 2/3 of Americans are broke. Okay. Grand Seiko all day, baby. There you go. GS SBGK005 on the wrist. Dustin in the house. Yeah, absolutely. Evening, gents. Hello, sir. Yes, I probably end up with the SBGN005 GMT as I've liked it very much since I heard about it last year. A perfect daily and travel watch, yeah, and heavy use watch, absolutely. And talk to Steve. He'll work out a deal. He'll work out a deal with you. So, okay, so now we're on the Asden. Yeah, we're on the Asden. So let me switch back one more time to the Mix Pre, and let's see if you guys see a difference. So we'll cut back over to the GMT. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so there you go. So we've got, we're back over on the Mix Pre 6 with the cashmere preamps. Fantastic preamps in that puppy. Let's see here. Let's see. Yes, I'll probably, okay, I already read that. What's the future for America if so many folks are broke and obese? Good question. Very good question. Do you guys remember the scene? I'm refreshing the chat here. Just give me a second. Do you guys remember the scene where in Animal House when the guy says being, what do you say, being fat, stupid, and something is not a good way to go through life? I forget exactly what the guy said, but yeah. Maybe somebody will remember the line from the movie. That was funny when the dean told him. It sounded like maybe my audio's a little bit hot. Is it a little bit hot? Testing 1 2 1 2 3. I wonder if it's a little bit hot. You guys didn't say it was. Okay, let's see here. I wish more watch companies would get the size and thickness under control like Rolex does. 40 millimeter size, 47 mil lug to lug, and 13 millimeters thick or less are absolute credibility. I agree. That's why I really like that piece there. That's a perfect size, 39 mils, 12 mils thick, super comfortable on wrist. Now this one sits nice for a 14 mil thick watch. It sits nice on the wrist, and it's a 44 mil watch, right? But it's very comfortable because of the titanium. But yeah, this is straight up a large sport watch, right? And a lot of the watches are even bigger than this, and more cumbersome on wrist. You know, they don't conform to the wrist like this one does. So Thomas says, start by getting rid of Trump. That wouldn't do anything. It really doesn't matter who is the president anymore, or really who's in Congress, because it's the big corporations that control all those guys, the ones that give all the money to them. So they're all bought and paid for. They're all just figureheads, just kind of entertaining and doing their thing. The fact that Americans are fat and broke is their own fault. It has nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with they're eating the wrong foods, and they spend money like drunken sailors, and they don't save and invest. That's the deal there. It has nothing to do with Trump or the Congress or anybody else. Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House? Love the soundtrack and the movie. Do you remember the line, though, where he says being fat and stupid is no way to go through life or something? Remember that when the dean was talking to him? I used to be a stainless steel guy. Now I'm a titanium guy. There you go. Well, titanium, this is very comfortable on wrist, especially in the summertime. And wearing this in some hot weather recently, it's not really hot today, but in some hot weather recently, it reminded me of why I really like these titanium watches, because I had the SBDC 007 for a couple of years, right? And it was so comfortable on wrist. And this one is carrying that forward, especially in the hot weather. It's extremely comfortable on wrist. So, yeah, I don't get people paying these huge premiums for these stainless steel watches. I mean, my gosh, you can get a Day-Date 40 for the price of some of those watches that guy was talking about, in the aftermarket prices. You can get a Day-Date 40 for gosh sakes. Why in the world would you buy one of those ugly, especially those ugly integral bracelet watches, the offshore and the Nautilus and all that crap, all those ones with the integral bracelet? I mean, that's insane paying that kind of money for those things. Fat tax for the obese, reduced taxes for the rest of it. It's the opposite. We're all paying for their health care and everything, and for their decisions, right? Their bad decisions, we're paying for it. Love W.C. Fields. You're crazy and I'm drunk. In the morning I'll be sober, but you'll still be crazy. That's a good one. I do not remember that line. When you live in a oligarchy, rotating paid-off politicians only amounts to changing the curtains. Though there you go. Craig, why aren't you wearing the GMT more often, no matter what clothes you're wearing? I'll tell you, I really love this diver. I mean, it's super easy to read. It's just hogging the wrist. I mean, and the other thing is, I know I don't have to worry about the GMT stopping if I'm not wearing it, right? I don't have to worry about it needing to have wrist time to keep it running. So that's a thing. But I do wear it from time to time. I know I will wear it a lot more in the winter time when I'm wearing long sleeves with the button cuff and I need it to slip under the cuff and all. I'm sure I will wear it a lot more in the winter time. But here in the summertime, with the rolled up sleeves and all, I'm loving this diver. So that's the answer to that question. Fat, drunk, and stupid. Was that the line, Jeff? What was the full line? See if you can type the line in there, because Carlos doesn't remember. Next time the toga party at Little Treasury. Hell yeah. David Williams says, fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son. There you go. And David's got the full line in there. That's great. Now they could add to that broke, right? They could add another descriptor there. Cheetown, California. You can get a Day-Date 40 white gold blue dial for what the Royal Oak and Nautilus go for retail, and hand those watches butts to them. Gold greater than steel. Cheetown, calling it the way it is. My gosh, are you kidding me? A Day-Date 40? Of course. There's a study that shows being in debt drops your IQ by 13 points. Debt isn't just stressful, but it's proven to actually dumb you down. It's scary. Avoid bad debt like the plague. I would say avoid all debt. I think all debt's bad myself, but people say, well, you should have a mortgage because then you can write off the interest. No, thanks. I don't want any mortgage. Let's see. I think that GS and that khaki shirt are a winner, timeless combination. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this thing, first of all, the GS goes with anything. It really does, with that dark blue dial, and it really looks almost black there, but you guys saw the pictures of it. I got to pull that picture back up that I took the other day because it was stunning. Just the way it was catching the light. And let me find it here. I got to go back in time a little bit on my timeline. Here we go. This one's pretty good. That's not the best one, but let me get it full screen and then I can show it to you. I'll show it to you. There it is, catching the light. Yeah, that when that blue catches the light, and you can see the way it just like sparkles off. See it sparkling off the end of that second hand? I mean, it's just, that thing, you get that out in the sun and it just plays with that light. It's pretty freaking amazing. Just try to do that with a Rolex, folks. You'll be hard pressed. Hard pressed. Let's see. You all are worthless and weak. Drop and give me 20. So no more gold watches for you, Craig. No, I didn't. I'm not saying that. There might be, I think we went through them the other day. I think I maybe had 5-day dates. I don't remember now for sure. Get old, you start forgetting things, right? I think I've had about 5 of them. Number 6 would not be a stretch. It might be a 36 mil, though. I don't know that I want to go to the 40. But yeah, I would not count out the possibility of me having another day date. When I tried on the SBGN 005, the indices sparkle like diamonds when they catch the light. Yeah, pretty freaking amazing. Pretty freaking amazing, the quality of the workmanship and the detail that goes into those puppies. Absolutely. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on this. Let's see. I'll just click on it like that. There we go. Woo! Whoops. Just moving the whole thing around a little bit. Okay, we'll leave it there. We'll leave a little minus on the screen. I don't think we can get rid of the minus. But look at that thing. Look at that thing pop. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up, folks. That's a photo that a little snapshot I snapped out there. I mean, nothing fancy. I didn't do any post-processing on it. That's it. That's what you see is what you get on this channel. This is the real deal, folks. We don't speculate on stuff. We don't guess about stuff. We show you the real deal here. Let's see. At what point in Bitcoin price will you take a little profit and buy an 18-karat gold day date stunner? Would go well with your Grand Seikos. Our Wags in the house. Great photo, Craig, says David. I don't know. That's a very good question. I don't think I would sell a Bitcoin until it gets to at least 100,000. A Bitcoin. I have no real need to sell. I mean, and I don't really want a day date right now. If I wanted a day date right now, I would buy a day date right now. But I don't really. When the time is right and when I feel like getting one. Like, for example, they don't offer the black dial on the 36 mil right now with the new movement. I really would like to get one with the new movement. And you got to step up to the 40 mil to get the black dial. And that was insane. I don't know why they did that. When they come out with just the right watch that really is exactly what I want, I would probably lock and load on it, and probably without selling any Bitcoin. Do you ever link your watch purchases to life events, Craig? Not really. Usually it's just the timing just seems right. And like I say, the watch just seems right, and I just buy it. It's never really been a particular event that I can think of or remember. It's been... in the earlier days, it was when I would stumble across one at a pretty good deal. Like when I bought the white gold day date, it was in a jeweler's window, and he had it for like 3 or 4 years. Couldn't sell it, right? Nobody would buy it. So it was the price, the list price on it was like 3 or 4 years old already, right? And then I got a big discount on it on top of that. I think he gave me 40% off. And so I just couldn't pass it up. I think it was $2,300 or something, brand new. And so I bought that puppy, and I only had it for maybe 6 months, and I sold it to the owner of Capital Porsche Audi just before he went out of business. So sometimes you just snatch a watch because you can get a deal, right? I got a good deal on this watch, and I got a new client, and I'm working with Steve and on some other things and so forth. And so, it just has to, things just need to gel right? For me to make any major purchase. Let's see. Corvette Man 2013, I don't see what is so great about the dial on this watch. Oh, man. Okay. You don't see it. You don't see it. Some people don't see it. That's okay. Not everybody's going to see it. That GSGMT is 39 mil. Yes, it's 39 mils, and it's 12 mils thick. Right about 12 mils thick. Very comfortable on wrist. Very comfortable on wrist. Insanely comfortable on wrist. If you guys, if 5 of you say in the chat, try it on, then I'll put it on. I'll switch watches. I'll put it on. But 5 of you have to say. Let's see. We also don't schlep donuts to our local AD and beg them to let us buy a watch at full sticker price. Cheat down in the house. Yeah, I bought the first BMW Z3 Roadster that VOB BMW sold, and they were very sought after then. And I knew the guys there, and so I was able to snag it. And I drove it for 6 months and still sold it at a profit because the market was so hot. And so, yeah, sometimes you stumble across those opportunities, and why not take advantage of it? Try it on, please try it on. Oh, my gosh, we got a bunch of try it on. In Hong Kong, you get 10% discount on GS before even starting to bargain. There you go. Yeah, you can get discounts on a GS. Absolutely you can. Okay, so let me go try this puppy on. Okay. The diver's a little bit crooked, but that is what it is. What it is. So here we go. You can see how this puppy conforms to the wrist, how trim it is. You can see the size there. Okay. And of course the clasp is more trim as well. But of course the downside is you give up the micro adjustments. This is adjusted for a moderately humid day, for not a real humid hot day. So this will be probably perfect in the wintertime, and on days like today that are kind of low humidity. You see there it's got enough play, enough slack that it fits just about right. So there you go. Yeah, it's fantastic on wrist. I mean, it's a great size. If you wanted like an all-arounder, like to really use for sport purposes and dress, I think it'd be very hard to beat that watch. Very hard to beat it. Nice looking watch. Absolutely nice looking watch. Let's see here. Is the GS logo on the GMT printed? Can't tell from your picture. I think the GS is raised and the Grand Seiko is kind of like painted on. I don't know if you would call the GS applied, but it does look like it's three-dimensional to me. Maybe somebody that knows a little more about how they do that can say for sure. But like on the other one, this one, I know the GS is kind of applied. I mean, it definitely sticks up three-dimensional like. And then the gold, I believe, is gold, like some kind of gold paint or something. The Grand Seiko words. So I don't know the real deal. It never is on a GS. What do you mean it never is? It never is what? Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff is painted on. I think the GMT, I think that's painted on. I don't know. No. I can't stand it when people put a 46 millimeter Panerai on their baby-sized wrist. Not a good look. Yeah, I don't understand it. You see a lot of these pictures in the forums of these relatively small wrists, and they've got these huge watches on. And then you got these people that put side-by-side pictures, and they put two ugly watches, right? I mean, just ugly watches. And they say, which one should I pick, left or right, right? And sometimes I'll reply, I'll say, neither. And they'll put like a upset face or something emoji, right? Yeah, like a frown. So the GMT has lume. Yes, it does have lume. Let's get a lume shot. Let's get a lume shot here if I can find it. Just give me a moment. I'll find a lume shot for you. I've got a lume shot here. I got a lume shot. Lume shot. Lume shot. Whoops. Okay. There's a little lume shot for you. A little bit of lume. It's not a ton of lume. It's really a sliver of lume on the minute hand and the hour hand. The markers have a little bit bigger lume. But it is not a lot of lume. If you want a lot of lume, you want the diver. The diver has just got insane lume. Let me find the... I've got a lume shot for the diver that is insane. Let me pull it up here. See if I can pull it up here. All right, this one's pretty good here. This one's pretty good. Oh, that's zoomed in too much. Okay, let me go there. There's a lume shot of the diver. I mean, it's got insane lume. You can read it under any circumstances. Absolutely, positively. Let's see here. Missed the beginning of the show, not getting notices. Always pick me up on a new 2019 Omega Seamaster. You did pick one up yesterday? True Liberty? A good job. My Panerai is only 44 millimeters then. The MixPre 6 is a higher quality unit in my opinion. The volume on the MixPre is louder than the Asden when you are doing A-B comparison. If you move the Asden closer to control it, you will get noise. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying there. I was trying to get the levels pretty close, but you think the level's a little bit hot on the testing 1, 2, a little bit hot on the MixPre. Let me check the gain. Okay, I took the gain down to 55 on the MixPre. Took the gain down a little bit. Let's see if it's a little more equal on the as compared to the Asden. Testing 1, 2. Now this is the mix pre with the gain down at 55 dB, and I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to the Asden here, and we'll get a direct comparison. So just give me a moment. I'm going to go right over to the Asden. Hold on. Okay. Okay, this is the Asden. This is the Asden. And I'm going to put my monitors on here. Just testing 1, 2. This is the Asden now, and it's at the same level it was before. And testing 1, 2. This is comparing the Asden as compared to the mix pre that we were on just a moment ago. Testing audio. Okay, so let's see here. If GS could make a 40 millimeter diver, I think they could have a big hit. Tom Austin. Yeah, they should try that. They really should. But I'll tell you what, I don't really think most people need a diver. I think for most people, this watch would suffice very nicely. I mean, it's got a screw-down crown. It's 100 meter rated. It's very trim on the wrist. It's got a very nice case shape and design. I mean, do you really need a diver? And this way you pick up the GMT function. Just saying, you know. Yes, drove to Naples, Florida for it. Exquisite Jewelers. Oh, there you go. All right. Well, you should send us a photo. Email me a photo so I can show it off a little bit here. Snap it over to me in email. Craig, are you a married or single gent? I'm divorced. Been there, done that. Got the t-shirt. Craig, do you miss your 35 millimeter gold stunner? Not really. Not really. Especially this time of the year. In the wintertime, I might miss it a little more. Like I say, I'd be wearing shirt cuffs more where I need a trimmer watch. But this watch will really meet that need. I don't really think I need a gold dress watch, to tell you the truth. I think if I get something in gold, I think it would be more of an all-arounder, like a day date, something where you can wear anytime. I'm not a big fan of straps on watches either. That leather strap, it just never centered right. It didn't do quite right on the wrist. Now, I'm sure you can probably get them to do right, but I've never been a big fan of leather straps or rubber straps or any kind of strap. I like a bracelet on a watch. So there's that. Yeah, it's my name, CraigShipp@gmail.com. CraigShipp@gmail.com. Yeah. So there you go. You can send that on over and we'll take a look at that. Oh, Jeff sent the little truck. Okay, let's he was going to do this the other day. Okay. Okay, that doesn't look like an RV, but that's a truck, all right. There's a heavy-duty truck that he sent a little picture of. There you go, just like that. Let's see what else Jeff sent. He sent something else. Doctor Strange, okay. He sent a link to a video. I'll check that out later. So let's see, Cheetown, California. I like straps on watches over 40 millimeter and bracelets on watches 40 millimeter and under. Okay, well there you go. That probably makes some sense. But I like the bracelet on my diver. It does the job, and that's a 44 mil watch. And it's nice that it has the 22 millimeter lug width, so it really everything looks in great proportion. Still entertaining the idea of a date 40. Yes, but am leaning towards probably sticking with a 36. All of them that I've had have been 36, and they've been great. And 36 is really a fantastic size for an all-arounder, date 8. I will really have to try on a date 40 and really see if it works for me before I would go that route. I would lean towards the 36 mil. 36 mil date 8 has a lot of presence on the wrist, folks. I mean, it just does. So, yeah. Did your vintage sub survive the unexpected swim in beer your friend gave it? That was you, right? Okay. So somebody took somebody's vintage sub and put it in beer? Uh-oh. That could be an issue. That could be an issue. I think most vintage Rolexes, if they're in good shape, I think most of them will survive a dunking in beer. They're pretty robust. People say, oh, you can't swim with a vintage Rolex and all this stuff. If they're in good shape, you certainly should be able to. I think that you are going to feel the date 40 too heavy. Carlos in the house. What do you think of A. Lang & Son dress watches? Some of them are very attractive. I think if I was going to go with a high-end dress watch, I think I'd probably go with a Calatrava. Would be where I would lean. Carlos, are you feeling that the date 40 is too heavy? Are you feeling that sometimes? Dudley swears by his. He says no problem at all. It's very comfortable and not a concern at all that it's a 40 mil date 8. And by the way, do you want to show us yours? You want to call in and show us yours? Give us an update. If you do, just call in on the Skype line, Carlos, and we'll get an update on what's going on. Glass Shoot Original makes lovely watches. Craig, would you purchase a used 18238 or only buy new? If I stumbled across an 18238 that was like in mint condition with a black dial that was really legible and had all box papers, everything, preferably an original owner, I'd be tempted. But I think that would be kind of hard to stumble across. That's the problem. A lot of 18238s are beat, been worn hard and put away wet. So I think you got to be careful on that situation. I am leaning at this point towards buying any watches I buy from now on, just buying them new from an AD. It's just a lazy man's way to do it, and I'm just getting lazy in my old age. And that way you know exactly what you get. You're getting the paperwork with your name on it, and, it is what it is. So there's a lot to be said for that, I think. But if the right one came along that was like mint, jumping up and down, mint condition, with a nice black dial, readable with lume on it, similar to the date 840 with the black dial. It wouldn't obviously be that same dial, but a nice black legible dial. Okay, here we go. Carlos is calling in. Let me answer this. Let me get my headset on here so I can hear him.
Let me put that.
Carlos is in the house, coming on in the house. There we go. We're going to get an update. Uh-oh, I just lost you. I just lost you, Carlos. What'd you do? Hang up on yourself? Let me see if I have to call him back or what do I need to do here? Well, maybe he'll call right back. Yeah, here he comes. What did you do? Did you hang up on yourself?
I don't know. I think maybe I have. Excuse me. Maybe I hang up when I put the tripod. I think maybe.
Okay. So
Yeah.
are you actually wearing the day date now?
No, in fact, today I am wearing the Datejust. That is,
That's gorgeous.
I haven't worn for like 3 months. Let me turn off the sound on the iPad.
Hmm.
And I don't know why. Yesterday, in a forum, I make a comment and I noticed that I haven't worn this watch for like 3 months or something. And yeah,
Now, is
just
that a 36 mil?
yeah, it's 36 mil.
That looks great on your wrist.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That is
See, Carlos has a good sized wrist, a nice healthy sized wrist, and that watch has very good presence on his wrist.
mhm.
Very good.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That is a nice size. Not for sure. Wearing this watch on the day 40 is like wearing this is like not wearing a watch. It's a big
Well,
difference
and
in
also the
weight.
Jubilee bracelet's very comfortable. The President bracelet is comfortable as well, but the Jubilee bracelet is very comfortable. It could be the most comfortable bracelet that Rolex makes. And now, what clasp is on that one? Can you spin it around?
Yeah,
It's got
it's the
the
hidden
hidden
class.
clasp. Yeah, very
Yeah,
nice, very elegant.
yeah. The hidden clasp. Yeah, the problem that it has, is that you don't have the fine tuning on the clasp. But I didn't have a problem with this, and I think that neither on the day date. But
Uh,
will be great having
mhm.
that possibility to do the fine adjustment.
Yeah.
Then regarding the thing is I am not used to wear heavy watches, and I notice when I wear the Day 40 much more than other watches like this or the Explorer or whatever that is lighter. But yeah, I notice it. I cannot say if I will have to say that makes. I will say that could be less comfortable from that point of view, being more heavy. But yeah, but no problem, and it's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't really have a problem with the weight, but you clearly notice it. And if you
Yeah.
just wanted to grab a watch and just go, and you wanted to have something really comfortable, you'd probably grab the Datejust or something else.
Yeah, if the primary reason is to have the most comfortable,
Mm.
I think that this is very comfortable. Also, the Explorer 39 is very comfortable. I will
Sure.
say that maybe maybe this could be a bit more, but difficult to say. Difficult to
Yeah.
say. And the
Okay.
other one is more heavy.
We have a question here in the chat. What's your thoughts on the pre GV blackface Milgauss? I like the Milgausses, but I don't. I would not buy one just because I don't. They're a little bit thicker than like an Oyster Perpetual or a Datejust because of that Faraday cage, because of the shielding for the anti-magnetic, and I don't need that. So I would not buy one for that reason. I would rather buy like an Oyster Perpetual or something else, like an Explorer or something else that doesn't need to be as thick as that. That's my thought process on the Milgauss. Now, if you're around a lot of magnetic fields and you really feel like you've got that issue and you've got to deal with that, I mean, then absolutely go with the Milgauss. But I've never really had a problem with watches becoming magnetized. In 40 years of wearing Rolexes, I never had any of them become magnetized. So to me, that's a non-issue. But again, your situation may vary. And we got a question: is that one with
I agree. I
the
agree with you,
uh,
Craig.
uh,
I went and I put in my wrist several times the Milgauss. I
mm-hmm,
really love the white dial one,
mm-hmm.
but it's very thick. You really notice, and especially if you are used to this Datejust or the Explorer, is much thicker, much
Yeah.
thicker.
And
the feeling.
now they're asking you, is that one the roulette dial wheel? Does that dial wheel go
Yeah,
black to red?
yeah, it has it. We can. Unfortunately, today is a black day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's something that I like it. I think that all the black. I think that all the black, all the whites, and I don't know if the blues too
Mm-hmm.
are relate. You can see that
Yeah,
change the
yeah, I
color.
see it's red. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's something that in fact I like it. I like it. That was probably one of the reasons that make me choose between the white dial and the silver dial. I was really between both,
Mm-hmm.
and I got this, and I think that probably that was the biggest reason for choosing this. I was more or less the same
Mm-hmm.
towards both, but yeah, but
It's
it
very
was.
attractive watch. Okay, so R.J. Lane is asking, what year is that watch?
This is from 2000 last year. It
Last
has
year. Yeah, okay.
like 15 months now or something.
And Thomas is saying, I love my Z blue Milgauss. It looks stunning. Yeah, the Milgauss, I like the looks of them. For me, I wouldn't go that direction because I don't need the anti-magnetic, and I want a thinner watch. So that's just for me. And I'll tell you, I'm a big fan of the Oyster Perpetual with no date on it. I think it looks very clean. I think it's an amazing watch. But of course, the date just like we're seeing right now is just. I mean, it's probably the best Rolex all arounder that you could have, because I mean you can use that literally for dress purposes, for sport, for anything at all. I mean that date just will get the job done. So that's probably the most versatile Rolex they make.
Yeah, but if people likes to have something thicker, it's really I really like the Milgauss. But if it's something that I tend to like, not very thick watches,
Yeah,
but yeah, I understand people taking the Milgauss if they want to have that a bit thicker. It's very nice.
there you go. So anything else you want to update us on?
No, nothing special. Nothing
Okay,
special.
you got any watches incoming?
I am waiting to go to Madrid to get
The Patek.
the Patek,
Hmm.
and no, I really don't have any idea of more watches. Really, but the thing that happened just before, someone was asking you about if you linked the watches to the milestones or
Yes,
whatever. That is my case. In my case,
yes.
yes, I do it, or maybe sometimes I fool myself and look for the first occasion to justify it. No,
Yep.
but the problem is, yeah, you end having a stock of watches, and in my case, I really like to wear the watches, but once I have the last one, to me is not. I don't used to wear it alone a lot. The previous ones.
Gotcha. Okay, so we have one more comment here saying, Carlos, would you recommend a fluted bezel Jubilee Datejust 36 or an Oyster Perpetual 36 as a do everything watch?
To me, also the watches for me is something very sentimental. And I really like the fluted, and for me is what I saw all my life in my family, my grandparent, my father.
Uh-huh.
And it's something to me is. I used to say that to me the fluted is like the soul of the of
Yeah.
this kind of watches.
Yep.
But I really like the Easter Perpetual. Especially, I really like it the dial on the white dial.
Uh-huh.
I seen it on the 39. I don't know if in the 36 is the same color. That is a color that is very difficult to appreciate. It's much more richer than this white. This white is, I will say, quite bland. In fact, sometimes I have the feeling that it's a bit plastic or something, while on the other one is sometimes you see a touch of silveries, and it's very, very nice. The white
Yeah.
on the Oyster Perpetual 39, but
Now,
you have to see.
one thing I would point out is the smooth bezel on any of these watches. If you get the Datejust with the smooth bezel, or you get Oyster Perpetual with the smooth bezel, they, if people care about this, they show scratches a lot more than the fluted. The fluted doesn't show any scratches just because of the design of it. And so if people care about that, that's definitely something that you might want to think about, as it is definitely going to show any little scratch that gets on it is going to show up on the plain, the flat bezel. So
And and something that happens with the fluted, that is something that I really like, is sometimes while I am driving in the car, a lot of times you have a reflection of the fluted in the interior of the car, and you see
absolutely,
like a disco,
absolutely,
real very. It's something very nice.
absolutely, you do.
Also,
Yep.
the problem is that it's very recognizable, and if you don't want to have flashy. Also, I am remembering someone that in a thread that we were talking about the white gold and
Mhm.
whatever, and someone said, "Yes, you are talking that the Day-Date 40 white gold is stealthy, but what happens with the fluted?" And I
Yeah.
said, yeah, really, for
Yeah.
sure, the fluted vessel is recognizable at short
Yeah,
distance.
if people
Yeah,
know what it is, they're going to know what it is. But
yeah,
the yellow gold and screams money. Even if people don't know it's a Rolex, they can see it's a big hunk of gold, and real gold looks like real gold. I mean, it's hard to fake
yeah.
that. If you have a plated watch, it doesn't look the same as a real gold watch. I can tell you that right now. So,
Yeah, that was what I told. I
um,
told that the difference is being blinky on the short distance and or being recognizable from the other side of the street. That is
yeah.
the case.
And Thomas says the Datejust is beautiful, Carlos. It looked really comfortable on your wrist. And let's see, that's just one of those great links to have buying a watch. Yeah, tiny scratches on the clasp are more common for me, Tom says. Yeah, the clasps on any watches get scratches. I mean, that's going to happen. Now, again, on a hidden clasp bracelet like his, they're not going to show up on the Jubilee. They're not going to show up on a Day-Date, on a President bracelet because of the way it's designed. It's just a much better design for hiding scratches. So and that's what really gets to me when these people talk about how, oh my gosh, a Day-Date, it's like chocolate, it's going to scratch so easily, it's so soft and all this stuff. They've never owned one. They obviously have no clue, because Day-Dates hold up great. They look great. They get a patina, and they wear very gracefully. They even with heavy use, they just look very special. So, and you don't get that with a stainless steel watch. I don't care how much money you spend for a stainless steel watch. It is not going to age gracefully like a Day-Date will. That's just the way it is. It'll always be a stainless steel watch no matter what. And so there's that. All right,
I have another watch too. So
okay.
this is from my kid.
Hmm.
I think that this is the second the second Casio Duro that he destroys.
Okay. I see that.
But in fact, it's a nice watch
Hmm.
for. I think that is like
Hmm.
$65.
Hmm.
Well, for him, is nice. It's the second one that he destroys, but it's good enough for a 12 years old kid.
Well, it looks like it's still running. So there you
Yeah.
go. It's still
Yeah,
running.
probably. I understand that probably now it's not waterproof anymore.
Yeah.
But it's still running. I've already ordered another one, but it's something good for them. It's bigger than any watch that I wear, but yeah, it's a nice watch for that kind of use. It's not luxury for sure, but it's
Sure.
a
Sure.
bit.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go because
Okay,
I'm going to go get something to eat. But thank you for calling in, and
okay.
always good to see what you've got going on there. And
Okay.
I'll probably be doing another broadcast tomorrow night because I'm going to get that Shure mixer and I want to test that out. So if I do get that, I'll probably do another broadcast. So hopefully we'll chat again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Okay.
my friend.
Okay.
That's
Thank you.
Carlos.
Bye-bye.
Carlos
Bye-bye.
in motion. Absolutely
Bye.
in motion in Panama. So there you go. That's how that works. And got a link in the chat here from RJ Lane. Let me tap on that watch. A pre-owned watch. I won't be able to show this because I'm pulling it up on the iPad. But let's take a look here. $17,295. It's on Bob's Watches. You guys can click on that same link. Let me just look through the photos here. It looks pretty nice. Now this would be a 118.238. The extra one, right? Because it's got the polished case. The top of the lugs are polished instead of satin. And this is going to have the solid links. It does not, I can't tell if it's got the 2004 bracelet. No, it does not. So it looks like it's probably a 2002 or 2003 or 2001 model, because it doesn't have the more modern clasp. But that's okay. That other clasp is actually a little more trim, so there are actually some advantages to that. So yeah, this is a 118238. I hope you guys are looking at it. The link was in the chat. Yeah, it's a good-looking watch. The hash marks don't look very legible on it, at least in these pictures. The hash marks don't really stand out much. There's just a little dot of lume on them. In the one picture, they stand out pretty good. It's hard to tell with photographs, right? You really have to see the watch, but that's interesting. Yeah, so they do make some. I'm going to take these headphones off. They have made some nice date 8s with black dials in the past. They just don't make them now, new, in the 36 mil size. So so let's go back here to the if I can get back into the chat here, see what's going on. Looking forward to the replay. Just got home. Robert V. Take care, Carlos. 2000, Craig. So it's a year 2000. That was when they transitioned. It was in about March or April, somewhere in there, of 2000, of the year 2000 was when they transitioned over to the 6-digit date 8. And then a few years later, I think around 2004 or so, was when they added the newer clasp on the President bracelet. Cheetown, nothing like listening to a CraigShip livecast while shopping. It's darn warm in Chicago, so it's getting warm. Uh-oh. There you go. All right, well, we're going to wrap this puppy up. Hopefully we'll do it again. We've been going for over an hour, and this time it didn't cut off. So, hey, remember, click subscribe, click the bell. Make sure you click the bell, because some people are saying they're not getting the notification, so make sure that bell is selected, because maybe it wasn't selected for you. So, I'll just refresh this real quick. Make sure there's no comments. Make sure there's no comments that I missed. No, we're good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this puppy, and hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow.